So, Menoka say Ahmed Suale, who happened to be an investigative journalist, way back in 2018, somewhere in 2018, thereabouts, I just say, one Medina. Remember, I said this was one of the guys, expose by the number 12 expose, no, and announce, collaboration, I just say, release here. But then the sequence are a lead here to this particular man's death, from the it is still hanging around the neck of Kenny Japan, because Ken, in his bid to defend the New Patriotic Party, a brandy, ni picture or show on the 2 TV can same be people believe, say, in some Ken can, it may have instigated some people to go and do certain things. I said, you and we'll come back to that. Now, beginning of this year, Nyetiobi, say Nipane a main suspect in the death of Ahmed Suale. And most people were happy because a NDC government and now more than or more handle case this particular time. And it's Nipane a chain on Nani D Betoja a Daniel Owusu Krating on that information about or a lead suspect in the murder case of investigative journalist Ahmed Suale. But then after so many investigations, we are learning Attorney General Dr. Dominic Ayini or the Ahmad directive said they should discontinue the case. And the presiding judge, Susan Nyakothi, Sisiano Apache said, Daniel Owusu Kranten, Sisiano, a unifi case, so he's been deposed off in Sisiano Bitimi, Akon UK, because so UK businessman or Koba. In this channel, so be the holidays, Ghana, or Kwana Waba, into a bag Ghana, be the holidays December, no, January, and Ajin Sobabecon, any channel. But Minoka said there's been a lot of reactions at Eba, Minoka say in the and same Bibre. We'll be taking certain things, but I just want you to ensure this particular mini or minor report, minute report. Babaka, we continue with what some legal experts are saying about this case.
Daniel Owusu Kranting was arraigned before the Medina District Court on March 19 following his arrest. Prosecution alleged that he led 2 other alleged culprits currently at large to the home of Ahmed Suale, where he was eventually shot and killed by unknown assailants. In court on Tuesday, October 14, prosecution led by Nanefua Bamfo informed the court that they had been directed by the Attorney General to discontinue the case. Following the prosecution's withdrawal, presiding judge Susan Nyakothi then ordered that Daniel Owusu Kranting be discharged and disposed of the case. Counsel for Owusu, led by Emma Jean Markin, expressed satisfaction at the development but chastised the prosecution.
I think that we were abandoning things that happened 2019, which is something that we cannot do in this matter. In 2019, when this issue happened, a lot of things happened. Several arrests have been made. Have we ever heard of anybody being paraded around the way Daniel Owusu Kranting was paraded around? Has it ever been heard? But there have been several arrests. If there was more work done, like the way some media houses were saying FBI investigations, it would certainly not be pointing at my clients, because you would have known that the gentleman was all the time in the country.
She further disclosed that Daniel's mental health had been impacted by the case.
After the arrest, after his bail, he's even having to seek medical attention. He's had a lot of emotional trauma. It's not been easy, even for us as lawyers.
The Attorney General discontinued the case due to one, lack of sufficient evidence to continue the prosecution of Daniel. He indicated that the sketch which was available to the police did not match with the description of the lead suspect, Daniel Owusu Kranting. Another thing that came up was that although his phone was pinged at the location where Ahmed Suale was killed, that is in itself is not enough for him to be prosecuted or held for his murder.
It remains to be seen what direction the murder trial of investigative journalist Ahmed Suale would take, as his assailants appear to be gone with the wind.
So that is it. According to information about Daniel Owusu Kranting, according to investigators, location baby Ahmed Suale, as at that time, the phone said he was at that particular place. The studio he bet okay, the location our Pinaxtv into be bomi to sisia ekunu wa ha na nipa ndi mi phone kwa bit my track is okay. At the time of me wo no ye share hours I be me bu ye based on how my body is a bit mark okay. Time me bu ye no na phone no around. They see a phone na could di open chain and I say bia nipa na obeku me nipa na no ankasa ni phone no e kyerese na our Pinaxtv heavy. But shortly after me wu ye no, and an location efi ha. So they use that to track Daniel Owusu Kranting. But then unfortunately, no, ni name description ni bibia ni shemu ye pache say Daniel Owusu Kranting ni nim ni location ni niema no, even though somehow it fits the description, no, Attorney General no still only sufficient evidence ebema a probable cause for us to detain and continue to arrest Daniel Owusu Kranting. So the question is, who killed Owusu Kranting? Yes, sure. Or say it is possible that this Ahmed Suale has absolutely nothing to do with politics or his investigative work. It is time for us to look at new theories. So people are saying, say, yeah, you enjoy politics in some year can you start to share new angles. Nye starting share new angles nye share there because ebia na enye politics ebia na enye anas ono ani hu nipa bi na ekokun ebia na enye se ebia or investigate obi no bi bo pass yenko boni tuo. These are things we need to look at. Meanwhile Martin Kpebu said discharge is not acquittal until there is no prosecution. Okay, discharge is not acquittal until there is no prosecution. I believe so. That's a law term. Say, the moment discharge, and then doesn't mean say you've been acquittal. But then until said there's not sufficient evidence. I don't know if my law is good, but I believe say null prosecution. Say there's not much sufficient evidence. Okay, there is not much sufficient evidence. Let me check if my law is correct. And it's no prosecution. Ye papa and you bema attorney Martin Kpebu lawyer Martin Kpebu Odibe Tuju, and I'm asking Google what is the meaning of no prosecute. But before then, many people are now reacting to this. One of the submissions in regards with this particular arrest amount be say we need to actually do something about this whole issue so what is the meaning na so I was say share na ye can so very soon we will be looking at this. So okay, I think say information no abba okay or say no prosecute is a Latin legal term that means to be unwilling to pursue. Okay, to be unwilling to pursue. In simple terms, it means the state or prosecutor decides to drop or discontinue a case either partly or completely. It's ya correcting me was angle which means say sana make an say until say prosecutor na beka so be drop case ni fully no yentimi engineer won ka say Daniel Owusu Kranting no yen charge the crash. So that is it. Now yen tie one of the submissions in regards with this case right now what is next? Ahmed Suale no ni wo no eyensem bebre yenhwe video we ye babaka iti for ye beto aso.
This idea, this idea, this concept that all of a sudden we've just woken up to everywhere the whole media is free, everything is free. It's a lie.
It's a lie.
It's a big hoax and it's a lie. No. These infractions happen, and in fact, sometimes they get worse as the governments get older. That is if you look at everything about it, they happen. And they happen because sometimes the journalists or the people themselves may go across the line or something happen. The idea then that all these things are new in the MPP and only happen in the MPP, but they will not happen there, this is wrong. So let me now go to the substantive case. When this issue happened, we politicized it. Not only do we politicize it, we over-politicized it. And then the whole country, we engage in what I would refer to as a tunnel vision. Everybody came to the conclusion that Ahmed Suale was murdered because of his work with Tiger Eye. There was just conclusion. So much so that it was then believed that the people who murdered Ahmed Suale were the people he was trying to expose or he had exposed. Invariably, because the people he was exposing were government officials, senior government officials, then it meant that the government had killed him. When you engage in this kind of tunnel vision, you close or you avoid yourself from looking at what we call alternative explanations, from looking at other possible scenarios. And that is what we ran with. So much so the senior opposition members promised the whole world and the whole country that when they come into power, they will find the killers of Ahmed Suale. That when they come to power, they'll find...
Who did that?
Who did that? There's a story here from GNA GNA, 28th November 2020,
That will find the killers
at 3:34 p.m. The headline is, NDC administration will bring Ahmed Suale's killers to justice. They were quoting His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana. It's a GNA story. Do
you think the manner in which he was killed was fair? And so there has to be
there's no murder that is fair. There can be no murder that is fair. Okay. There can be no killing that is fair. So, but the point I'm making is this, if you let me do, is this tunnel vision we all got into. Because we all just assume that because he was doing work that may be against government officials, that those government officials killed him. And because those government officials killed him, those same government officials could not, or the state could not be depended upon to bring his killers to justice. So, the only way he can get justice is if the government is out of power and a new administration comes, then that new administration, because
the government just came to power.
Yes, they just came to, again, that's the point I'm making. Okay. Now you came to power, you now review the evidence, you took the gas cost, and the gas is so my question then is that. So,
in relation to that, and then also trying to justify or not whether there was a culture of silence.
I've not tried to justify anything.
Okay. The Press Freedom Index is a good indicator.
Yes, it is.
And by 2022, we had dropped sharply.
2022?
Yeah. To 60 to 60 to 66.
Yes.
Subsequently, even by 22, so to speak.
Yes.
And that had been a concern for everybody else. You don't think that's a concern?
It's a concern. I'm not saying it's not concern.
Because you're a political scientist.
Yes, right? I've just told you. I'm not saying it's not a concern. I've told you. I've explained.
So what are you saying?
I've explained that. This idea, yes, there were infractions on the journalists. There were some media freedoms rights were trampled upon. I've agreed. I'm not saying that did not happen.
Okay, so you do agree. I do agree. I do agree that it happened. You do agree. There's a correlation between the index falling sharply or us doing poorly as a country, and then also Ahmed Suale's murder amid other infractions committed against you.
No, I have no evidence to draw that correlation at all. Okay. Absolutely not. But the point I'm making is that it happened, yes. I'm not saying that the media was perfect, everything was, no, the way first happened. But the point I'm now making is that we are seeing similar things right now, this early in the administration. 10 months into the administration, we are seeing similar things. And I'm telling you that to the extent of even trying to gag a pollster, an academic, to the extent of telling a whole media house that don't publish the story that you want to publish. I am saying that this is early days yet. But you are seeing the ugly head of this thing rearing up. So if you then sit down, and in fact, a fair analysis would be to say that, look, we've seen it has happened before, and we are beginning to see signs of it.